Good morning. Welcome to a morning outlook on Friday, the 23rd of June. This is Kim speaking. So, looking at the euro dollar, and well, I'm just looking at this morning's candle, and it's as big almost as yesterday's candle, and get 2/3 of the day, a whole day's movement, and it's we've not even started. As you can see, the average true range has been dropping down quite significantly down to the sort of 62 pip move, which in reality we're seeing sort of 40, 50 pip move days. So we've a day like today is quite refreshing, so long as we see some continuation of this move, and why not? So looking at where we are at the moment, it's sort of air kissed the earlier in the week. We air kissed the monthly pivot there, and since then we've been well, had the bounce retracement, and it looks now there's a possibility we're almost back into that 4 hourly 50. If we start breaking that sort of level on those previous highs, we could be back on for the weekly pivot towards that direction at least. As in the range for the day, well, it may already have been done, and it'll be interesting to see whether this. I mean, I'm come down to the hourly here. It's already gone through the daily pivot here. It'll be interesting to see what next with this. It's had one of its sort of biggest days for some time here in for this time in the morning. But as you can see, the pivots are very pinched. The ranges are tight. So there is the possibility if it can push through that 200, we could see break the yesterday's highs and run towards the sort of R2 area. Certainly a possibility, certainly no guarantee, that's for sure. But already ticked off the weekly pivot, daily pivot, the R1 sort of area, leaving it quite difficult to trade, bearing in mind the ranges we've seen of late. But who knows, it may sell from this sort of 200 and give some sort of setup to the downside. If it does, well, just really look for today's lows possibly. If it can break the 100. In fact, in a day like this, there's no reason why you can't see the R1, S1 hit. There's such a tight pinch. Okay, the pound dollar, just run into the dailies first, and whilst the average true range here again is falling off, it's still in the sort of 90 pip range. However, it does, and it did yesterday, sit for a long period with hardly any range. Well, a very tight range, should I say. Today, it's already again started moving. It looks like it's eclipsed the sort of size of yesterday's movement, all in the morning session, the Asian session here, and it's pushing up relatively well. Certainly from the divergence on 4 hourlies earlier in the week, it's continued this sort of push. It's now broken the prior high there, so confirming the higher low in there. And well, in all extents and purposes, it looks like it's sort of got a chance to get back towards the weekly pivot as well. I mean, the daily pivots are so pinched because the range yesterday was so tight. There's summertime low in terms of range. We rarely see such tight ranges. Anyway, it's what looks most of yesterday afternoon as a weak pair. It started to push on up, and as I said, well, we'll see how it runs here. It could run back towards that weekly pivot, but again, already caught the daily pivot R1, R2, and it's a question of what it'll do here. Again, if it does start selling off, well, the daily pivot seems a logical target. Just need to check it actually caught that. Yeah, it looks like it caught it on the midnight hour. Yeah, so there's the possibility of back towards the pivots there. Maybe the 50 MA is a bit of support if it starts selling off there, but not expecting a lot this morning. Dollar yen. Well, dollar yen, it's again small ranges as most of these pairs are at the moment. There's a sort of little in the way of action here. It has well, it's in fact, bearing in mind we've had news out on the dollar yen. It's probably moved the least of all the pairings, but it is strengthening marginally. There was PMI data out during the Asian session there, which was 6 months of continuation of growth, but it's the lowest one in 6 months as well. So sort of mixed bag there, but it is at the moment, well, it's already back to its daily pivot now. It's looking here, still looking relatively to the weaker side, from what I can see, if it's broken this low just about, it's put a lower high in, is a possibility of a continuation to the downside, which would fit with any potential roll continuations to the upside of the pound and the euro. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar seen a corner turned here, and it's broken the daily 8 already, and again decent move through the Asian session. It seems to be all having a bit of a surge through this period. Maybe some profit taking after the week of the downside here, but either way, at the moment it looks like it could be on for its 4-hourly 50, 34, already through the daily pivot R1, and heading upwards there at the moment, quite strong towards the R2, 100 MA, etc. So there's a possibility of that. Now, let's just check in that. That's fine. Okay, so got maybe a little bit overbought some of these markets on the short-term frame, but certainly not on these time frames. Okay, it's the Aussie, and finally the Canadian dollar. In fact, let's just have a quick check out. It's been showing signs of strengthening all week, and yet oil's still sitting there around about $43. It's barely done anything for the. In fact, it just drops through the week, but the Canadian dollar's held up quite well. Let's just have a look at the dailies here now. If anything, looks like it could see a continuation. It's put a bit of a pivot swing in there. A break of yesterday's lows would maybe see it come down to that monthly S2 zone. Looking at 4 hours, you just see that sort of bearish flag that's gone on there, and it's sort of rolling over at the moment. As I said, it really, to me, it would trigger it better if it started breaking yesterday's lows. Again, all these patterns are pushing this way. However, upside possibilities, we're sure there are some, and the logic would suggest it would go there with a low price of oil, but it seems to be fighting the logic at the moment from the fundamental aspect. Now, if it does start pushing up, a break of that 60-minute 8 may give us some sort of signal towards the daily pivot, although it will find resistance into the 21 moving averages there for sure. Did get quite a sell-off on the news yesterday afternoon. It sold off quite strongly actually at 1 o'clock. I say news, there was no news on oil, but did get the kicker and sell off yesterday. So for whatever reason it moved down here, but I would expected it the opposite way, but there we are. Okay, that's pretty much it for oil. News-wise today, we've got some data coming out at 8 and 8:30 for the euro. The French flash manufacturing data coming out at 8, and services data coming out at 8, and the German data coming out at 8:30. That can give a bit of volatility, early shift. The overall figure comes out at 9 o'clock, which doesn't give much in the way of volatility because it's the two key drivers already reported. Aside of that, 1:30, we've got very little. It's some Canadian CPI data, which may move the Canadian dollar a little, and then that's it until we've got a FOMC speaker at 7:15, which I'm sure most of you will be gone off early. So that's it. Have a great day. Bye for now.